welcome to our final episode of the summer of our Living Proof videos. My name is Eric Legge. I'm an agronomist and certified crop advisor here at our Arthur location. We're standing in a soybean field east of Arthur today. This field was planted on the 16th of May. The variety we chose for this field is Asgro's 06X8. There's a couple things we're testing out in this field this year. The first thing we're testing is the addition of a lay-by product in our post-emergence herbicide application. The product we're using is Zidua SC. This product in the past has been offered in a dry formulation, but new this year, BASF has come out with a liquid formulation. The second thing we're testing in this field this year is the application of a fungicide at the R2 to R3 timing. The product that we're using in this field is a product from BASF called Priaxor. The reason we're using this product is to help boost plant health along with the addition of late season diseases that can impact our soybeans. We also see a nice benefit of yield bump with this product at this timing. Currently in the field we're standing in, we're sitting about the R2 growth stage. Within the next week or so, we'll come in and we'll spray the Priaxor at that R3 to R4 timing. A few things that I've noticed in our soybeans in the last week, or locally around Arthur, we've seen a lot of rain since the 4th of July. So we've had issues with standing water in areas where these soybeans have been stunted due to water and saturated soils. One issue that you can watch out for in some of these areas that the soybeans are stunted are some root rot diseases. A common pest that we can see this time of year in our soybeans are soybean aphid. Locally, we haven't seen any measurable populations of soybean aphids. The first areas that we start to see these aphids are along tree rows, grassy areas, and ditches. As you're out in your soybeans, it's still a pest to watch for. We want to continue to scout for soybean aphids through the R5 growth phase. The economic threshold on soybean aphids is 250 aphids per plant. In the last couple years, we've noticed some resistance issues popping up with soybean aphids. Make sure you consult your local Arthur Companies agronomist before making the decision to spray. Our small grain crop is shaping up pretty nicely given its late planting. With recent rainfalls, however, we've had some potential for risk for some other diseases. The one disease I've noticed quite a bit in wheat fields this year is bacterial leaf streak. This disease is caused by our heavy rains that we've seen with some wind creating lesions in our leaves. The disease then enters through those. Being a bacterial disease, there's nothing that we can spray for it. Our best management practice when trying to manage for bacterial leaf streak is variety selection and crop rotation. One major disease we've been concerned with is Fusarium head blight. Recently we've been out evaluating some of the fungicide applications we've made, and we've been noticing some Fusarium head blight in those fields. Another thing I've noticed as I've been walking wheat fields after all this weather we've had is a few armyworms popping up. Now none of these armyworm populations are at a threshold yet, but there's still something to watch for in your wheat. Armyworms can be tough to scout for, but the best time to scout for them is early in the morning or late in the evening when they're out actively feeding on the crop. The last thing I wanted to cover is corn. Locally around our area, we've seen corn start to tassel along tree rows and other sheltered areas. We'll see a lot of it here now starting to tassel throughout the entire field. This gives us an excellent opportunity to plan for a late fungicide application. The best timing for this fungicide application is after the tassel is fully emerged and the silks begin to come out. In the last couple years, we've been using a product from Syngenta called TrivaPro. With this product, we've seen a great return on investment, along with added plant health and great late season intactness. Now I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Carl for our grain market update.
So on account of our last Living Proof trial for the year, we wanted to bring in a special guest to talk about grain market updates. And one thing I want to throw a plug in for is we're going to bring in Jackson Henke. He's one of our grain interns here in Arthur. And if any of you know anybody, any young folks in the next year or two that are looking for an internship, we offer a really good opportunity for a way to learn the business, but also a good opportunity for us to get to meet some young folks as our business is growing. So we're really looking for kids on campus here in the next 12 to 24 months, preferably grown up in North Dakota. We like to invest rurally, and we also like to find local kids because we see a really good response from local kids and working with our local growers. And now I'm going to turn it over to our intern from NDSU. He's going to be a junior, Jackson Henke from Park River, and he's going to give everybody a grain market update.
So like Kevin said, my name is Jackson Henke. I'm from Park River. I'm currently a student at NDSU, and I'm interning with Arthur Companies for the summer. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the grain markets. The biggest point of contention right now for corn and soybeans is the number of planted acres that are actually out there. There's a lot of conjecture, but it seems like nobody really knows what the number actually is. There's conflicting reports. USDA representatives might say this or that or try to give an estimate, but it seems like everybody that goes on their crop tour of the Corn Belt says that there's a lot of corn out there. So the million-dollar question actually becomes, how many of those planted acres are in turn going to get harvested in the fall? This year was kind of an outlier of historical years, being that it was about the slowest planting pace we've seen since USDA really started recording it. So there's not a whole lot of reputable data on how that affects yields and otherwise. Personally, I am of the belief that this late planting will have a more drastic effect on yield than the market is necessarily pricing in right now. I also think that regardless of the number of total planted acres, I think those marginal acres that were on the edge of being PP acres are going to be especially low producing. So at the end of the day, we're looking for higher prices going into harvest and into winter. On the wheat side of things, the market is kind of digesting high global supplies coming from last year and expected large production here in the United States. The spring wheat crop particularly seems to be in pretty good shape. A little bit less than last year, but we're expecting a low pro, high yield across the state, especially North Dakota. The Wheat Quality Council is actually running their annual tour starting this week, where they'll go through North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota, I believe. So keep up to date with that and see what their yield projections are and what they think of the overall condition of the crop. One interesting aspect of this year is that I think we're going to see a lot more winter wheat mixed into feed rations, especially down south. That in turn should do some work to cut down on the overall wheat balance sheet. I'd expect at some point better pricing opportunities to come this winter. For spring wheat producers specifically, I would look at that September 2020 contract. Right now it's trading around $5.75. If you're looking to offset some additional long-term price risk, I think that's a good level to be at. Thanks for tuning in. This will conclude our Living Proof series for the summer. Make sure you contact Arthur Companies for any of your grain marketing or agronomic needs.